22-18, Community Corrections General IT Contract.
Okay, it looks like we don't have Annie Grievous.
Sherry Krause filling in for Annie since she's in court this morning.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning. Community Corrections is asking for commission approval to sign a general IT service agreement with Studio F. We did get some alternate bids, which I think you've had a chance to look over. But he is a little bid, and this is someone that's familiar with our unique needs in our agency, so we'd like you're okay to sign that agreement with him.
Questions of Sherry from staff, from the commission?
Yes, I just have one, and I have got a little bit of information back on this, but one of the, my questions is why are we going out for bid? What's going on that who has been doing our IT support over the years?
We have had a service agreement with ISG in the past.
Okay.
And that one has come to an end, and we're looking at changing providers.
Okay, and was it that their rates were a whole lot more than this, or?
Their rates are higher. We've had some issues with response time from them, and just, yeah, so we're looking at options, and we liked this one.
Okay, and this new Studio F, I know it's somebody that has departed from that company.
It is, yes.
and started their own new business. So do you feel that down the road that they have the support, I mean, that they have also the manpower to take care of your immediate needs?
That has been a concern, but we have surprisingly run into that with ISG as well. They've had staff turnover lately. The person that provides service in Salina is actually based in Wichita. So, yeah, even though that's a larger company, we still have that same.
And so you're going to have the same problem going with this company too?
We may.
Yeah, you may not. Okay.
Time will tell.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Well, I'll weigh in there. I would prefer going with the Saline County IT. I mean, you're talking $200 difference, and with no additional fee if needed after hours, whereas Studio F is $50 an hour if needed after hours. I mean, that's only we're talking $200, so that's 4 hours worth of work afterwards, and we're going to be looking at potentially a lot more money, and we would have a lot more control. It seems to me like if Saline County IT were to cover this, but that's my opinion.
But and one of the, can I?
Sure, go right ahead.
Mr. Bauer, question. I mean, and since you are here representing the Saline County IT staff, do you feel that, I mean, would this put such a burden on our IT staff that since you guys are already busy, do you feel that this would jeopardize anything else if this did happen? I mean, I'm just going, do you have the manpower?
I think in the past manpower would have been an issue, but I don't believe it is today.
Okay.
I think we could handle the extra load.
And is this all a PC base or is this an AS400 type base that you're running?
Well, this is to maintain our server, make sure it's up to date, our firewall over there.
But is it all PC based servers and everything?
Yes, it's a Windows.
Okay.
It's a Windows.
Oh, that okay. Thank you. So, but that's, I just.
I like the fact that you brought a recommendation, and I'd like to ask the question: was it just cost that drove the selection here, or were there some other issues with not selecting the Saline County's IT? You can be frank.
I think it's just because the Studio F, Devin Forkamp is someone that's been with ISG for a lot of years, and he's very familiar with our system. I think the county has worked with him as well. So that was one thing that drove our decision to go with him. And I think that the county supported that also, is we have their county administrator's recommendation to go with that as well.
Further questions? Are we ready for a motion then? Administration wish to weigh in at all?
We did, Andrew and Brad and I staffed this pretty completely, and we felt comfortable with them going with Studio F after everything considered.
Mr. Chairman, with staff's recommendation, I say I move we sign the IT service agreement with Studio F Inc. as requested by staff.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we sign the RFA 182-18 service agreement with Studio F as requested by staff. Is there any further comments? All those in favor, excuse me, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Nay.
Nay.
So it's 2-2. So we'll wait, and probably have to have you make a re-proposal. At what point do we have 2 commissioners here, or 5 commissioners, I mean, and come up with a casting vote? All right, thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 4.
Flu clinic and upcoming flu season public announcement with Jason Tiller, Health Department Director.
Good morning, Jason.
Commissioners, how you doing today?
Good.
So we thought we would kind of get ahead of some of the questions in this that we kept running into last year with flu season getting ready to come up. And then talk a little bit about the upcoming community flu clinic. So just in general, flu season runs usually through October through May and peaks mostly in December and February. Just keep in mind that flu differs from the common cold. You see the list of symptoms here. And all of this information, when I get done today, is going to be on our website as well, so the public will have access to it. Sudden onset, that is probably one of the key differentiating features between the common cold and the flu. Generally, with common cold, you'll have a gradual onset of symptoms. My throat feels kind of scratchy. You know, I might be congested. When the flu hits, you can pretty much pinpoint when and what point of that day you got sick and when you're feeling it. Some people have fever, or it's cough, sore throat, runny nose. So CDC has what they call take 3 actions to fight the flu. And these 3 actions are vaccinate, stop germs, and use antiviral drugs if they're prescribed. So in vaccination, the annual flu vaccine is the best protection that you can have against getting the flu. It's recommended for kids 6 months and older. For new kids that are just getting flu shots, it's recommended 2 doses that are 4 weeks apart just to get their immune system going. And then from that point on, then they will need an annual one. We also have high dose flu vaccine for those that are 65 and older to help boost up their immune system as it starts to maybe not work properly, or maybe they have some sort of chronic disease or something like that. When to get the vaccine? Best time to get it is now. We have flu vaccine already available at the health department, and other places do as well. It's best to get it before flu season starts. And it takes about 2 weeks once you get the flu shot for your immune system to fully ramp up and be able to recognize flu if you're exposed to it. It's like I said, we have it, we can start giving it now. Adults can do it, they can walk into the health department. Kids, we prefer an appointment so that we can also check their other vaccines, make sure they're up to date on those. And then on October 3rd, as I mentioned in my update a couple weeks ago, we will have the community flu clinic at the 4-H building, as we've had each year, where we have either the walk-in or the drive-through. And like I said earlier too, we have partnered with the Saline County Sheriff's Office to do a drug take-back of any expired or excess medication of any type can be dropped off through both of those methods during the community flu clinic. We will be doing city, county, school district employees over at the health department on the 11th. And then we will also be giving flu shots at the senior center. We've got a date scheduled for that. And then home health nurses will be doing some of the outreach clinics to some of the smaller assisted living facilities and places like that. So the second step in fighting flu is to stop germs. So you will try to avoid contact with those that are sick. If you're sick, stay home. Don't come to work and spread it around to all of your employees, especially if you happen to work in one of those cubicle farm type offices where you're all in close contact. It's recommended that you should be fever-free for 24 hours without taking any kind of fever-reducing medication like Tylenol or ibuprofen before you return to work. When you sneeze, cough, cover your mouth and nose, wash your hands often and thoroughly. You can use hand sanitizer if you are not able to wash your hands, but washing your hands is still the best method for getting rid of those germs. And then clean and disinfect surfaces that may be contaminated. So, you know, spraying down the doorknobs, common touch places with Lysol, things like that. Or if you get somebody that is at work sick, then you might need to close down your whole office area with Lysol when you send them home, so that you're not contaminating anything else. Take the antiviral medications. They work best if they're taken within 48 hours of onset. So like if this afternoon, for instance, if you started feeling ill, you went to urgent care, they tested you, and even if the flu test doesn't necessarily come back and say that you have influenza A that they test for, because there are other strains of flu, they'll likely give you, if it matches flu, or if your symptoms match flu, they'll give you the antivirals and you start taking them. And that will shorten the length of the infection, help reduce some of the impact of the symptoms and any kind of possibility of complications. So a couple of questions that we kept getting last year, or that we've heard myths-wise, is one of them, can I still get sick even with a flu shot? Unfortunately, yes. Like I said, there are a lot more flu strains out there than the 4 strains that are contained in the flu shot. When they develop what 4 strains are going to be in the flu shot, they generally look at what they think are going to be basically the top 4 in circulation. So you could be infected with another one that's out there. There's a lot of them. The other possibility is that you were either affected right before you got the flu shot or right around the time that you got it, before your immunity was able to completely ramp up to it. So that's one of those 2 ways how you might get sick even with getting a flu shot. On that other token, you cannot get sick from getting the flu shot. And we hear that one often. I don't want to get a flu shot because it always makes me sick. Well, no, you're not getting sick. You're not getting the flu from the flu shot. You might have a common vaccine reaction at the site, which can happen with any vaccine, where you might have some redness and tenderness where you got the shot. You could have a low-grade fever for a day or 2 and some body aches, and then again, that's just your body's immune response getting ready for recognizing influenza down the road. But you did not get flu from the flu shot. So monitoring, CDC and the state monitor what they call influenza-like illness, because a lot of places, if it looks like flu, sounds like flu, they treat it as flu. They don't always test for it. So we will, and then these numbers and this monitoring is updated weekly. There's 2 websites there if anybody's interested, but we'll be monitoring those. Slaughter Regional monitors their inpatient ICU for flu admissions. And as we've seen in the past, if they get a lot of flu cases, they will shut down general access to the hospital and keep it minimized so that they keep flu out of some of those areas where people may have just had surgery and things like that, so that they aren't infected. And we'll be monitoring all those throughout the flu season, including the syndromic system essence, so we'll be able to see a lot of that information. And that too will also help us if the flu season for some reason starts getting bad early, things like that, to be able to start taking additional steps, either putting out additional messages, things like that. Additional resources, of course, like I said, all this information will be on our website. Throughout flu season, we'll have stuff on social media. KDHE, CDT has information. And then, if anybody, instead of trying to sit there and read through a lot of just boring, complicated documents that CDC has, that it's a whole lot of words, not a lot of pictures, because it's, you know, just academic and scientific. They also have a graphic novel they've developed called The Junior Disease Detectives Operation Outbreak that can be downloaded and or, you know, looked at on tablet, printed. For some people, this is more entertaining than trying to read the academic journals. And it certainly looks a little bit better than just plain print. But, you know, there's just different options if other people are looking for different information. And of course, they can always call us at the health department and ask questions, inquire about flu shots, and anything else for that matter. But this time, if there are any questions about flu, I'll take those.
I will simply state, I think I've stated it up here before when we had last year's clinic, that I did go to the 4-H building, did get my flu shot there. It is a quick, easy, simple process. You're in and out in a matter of minutes, and easy way to get your flu shot. So there's no excuse not to have one if you choose to have one. So I know the clinics here in town have a one-day thing, but this gives you an alternative to going to your clinic. So it's quick and easy. And so questions or comments from the commissioners?
Quick question is, if you get your shot this early, I mean, does your...
It will last throughout the entire flu season.
It doesn't wear off in a month or 2 months?
No.
Okay.
No. So getting this, in fact, I've got mine already. Okay. I went and got mine so nobody else can complain about getting there. But yeah, if you get it, that's why we kind of recommend you start getting them now so that when flu season starts ramping up in October and we start seeing it, then you've already got that protection. And it will last through the flu season.
And Jason, did I hear you say that walk-ins are available right now at the flu?
For adults.
For adults.
At the health department, walk-ins are available.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 5.